Hello and welcome to Big Dumb Movie, where we discuss movies of the big dumb variety. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alan.
Hello.
Get off your phone, Alan. Steve.
Aloha.
No, I'm just kidding. You can.
We don't care. Use your phone.
Today we have a special guest with us, a man that hails all the way from Alabama, in the United States of America, the land of the free, by the way.
Oh, yeah, totally right.
Well, this is him. You know him. You love him. This is Josh, the review dude. Say hello.
Hello, this is Josh. Not to be confused with Josh from Spoilers. This is a way more embarrassing Josh.
That's right. We've had two guests named Josh. What are the odds, right?
Oh, dude, it's a super fucking common name.
Is it? Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, Steve. I mean, probably the most common, right?
Wait, are there other Steves? Oh, you're blowing my mind here, man.
Steve Seagal.
Oh my god.
Steve McQueen.
How dare you?
Jesus Christ. You're right.
Stephen Mercury, the singer of Queen.
I actually did find that quite fascinating when I was about 8, that there were other people named Steve.
Well, guys, it's October. Or is it? Or are we pre-recording this? It's October, and we are doing our Halloween episodes. The way we're doing this, for those that aren't in the know, is we're doing 4 episodes that are either horror or Halloween themed. And this is the first one of the bunch. This is Steve's pick.
Because I won.
You won. You won the D&D
What a
dice
4.
roll. We each had 1 D20s, and we rolled. Steve got the highest number. Of 4.
Oh, sweet. I play D&D too. It's super fun.
A nerd like us. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Which will become relevant when we get to Matthew Lillard. I watched him play D&D live on whatever their fucking Twitch channel is, but he's super nice, super cool.
That's awesome.
D&D
What class
player.
does he play?
I believe the one I watched, he was a ranger. He was a Tabaxi ranger, I believe.
Now I gotta follow him on Twitch because I didn't know he has a Twitch
I
channel.
had no idea that was a thing, and now I absolutely have to watch it.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, he's super on the spot. It's really great.
What's the one with the Rick and Morty crew called? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah, I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I've been meaning to watch it, yeah.
Oh, if you like this one with Lillard, I'm sure you'll love the other one.
Not to get too topical, but the one I used to follow was the one with Pro Jared.
What's that about?
So maybe he sent some photos to some underage people. Maybe not.
Who's to say?
Who's to say, right? So, yeah, needless to say, I think that podcast is canceled.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Well, guys, real quick, I was thinking of something, because we did Gremlins recently,
Yeah.
and I've been posting a lot of stuff on our Instagram about our Gremlins 2 review. I had a pitch for a movie. I wanted to see what you guys think. You can even pitch in too, Josh. You can tell me your thoughts.
All right.
All right. So it's about a little tiny building, right, in Russia.
Okay.
And it multiplies, and it just causes chaos all over the world. Little tiny buildings spreading all throughout the land, just causing trouble. And it could be called Kremlins.
I was like, how is he going to connect this?
Yeah, I was
great.
waiting for that.
That's good, right?
That was a pretty good one.
I've been saving that one up.
Like, what kind of buildings are we talking about here?
The Kremlin, comrade.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Okay, guys. So
Called the Onion Dome phenomenon.
Right.
now, the Area 51 raid. Do you guys remember we talked about that a couple months ago?
Yep.
It was a thing that was up and coming.
Yeah.
Well, it's happened. The world has been changed forever by the results of the Area 51 raid. Have any of you guys been following it at all?
Yeah, I actually was looking at live updates just out of curiosity on and off during the day.
Okay, you can tell us, because I have no idea what happened.
I hated it.
Very little. Like, I don't remember all the details, but apparently it ended up being multiple groups of people in very close proximity, but not in the same place. And some of them had like makeshift EDM festivals with blow up aliens and stuff. And a handful of people got within a stone's throw of the base, and a lot of them took selfies of themselves with signs that had been put up to basically say you might get shot if you get too close. And a small number of people, I think 5 or fewer people ultimately ended up getting detained by the cops, but I don't think most of them are going to end up being in real serious legal trouble. One guy, though, got arrested after getting extremely inebriated and then attempting to urinate on the fence to the base.
What is that, like a fucking fine?
Well, but at a military base, so they probably
so it's why it's doubled?
Yeah, whatever, But
I'll pay $200 because you peed on Area 51.
right. For the most part, it ended up being a total nothing burger. It mostly amounted to a handful of people having like electronic music.
I know like a bunch of celebrities were supposed to show up. Like Keanu Reeves, was huge. Area 51, here I come.
Oh my god!
P. Diddy is going to be on it.
That seems so much like one of those things where somebody somewhere, like on a Reddit thread or something, is like, "Oh yeah, my cousin is Keanu Reeves' personal assistant." And
that's exactly what it is.
He told me that like Keanu was going to be there, and then it like spread.
Dude, they had one with Chuck Norris. They had one with Keanu Reeves. They had like every popular guy. They're like, "Oh, he's coming to Area 51." It's just a fucking meme.
Spoiler alert, they didn't.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, everyone that showed up was like 100 people and they were all fucking nerds.
Yeah. So most disappointing thing I've seen in a while.
A bunch of nerds unlike us.
It wasn't even extreme enough in either direction. Like, if nobody had showed up, it would be more entertaining than that to talk about.
It's kind of sad. It's like, why even just show up?
Right.
You're not going to even do anything. No one even tried to get across.
And it's not even a huge, like, in the other direction, huge epic failure like the Fire Festival. It's just disappointing.
Right? The highlight of it, at least based on what Reddit has told me, is that some news crew accidentally got a guy scramble by them in the background doing the Naruto run with his hands behind his back.
That's the highlight. It took 6 fucking months for that. That's what you guys have? That's nothing. That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, speaking of embarrassing, there's a little movie that we watched called 13 Ghosts. A movie that has a 15% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Does it? Holy shit. I was thinking it would be like way lower, like 9.
You thought it'd be lower.
I know we've spoken about his, let's just say the validity of his opinion, but Roger Ebert somehow really liked this movie, apparently.
Really?
I mean, didn't give it a very high score, but actually did speak positively about it.
So, he liked this movie, but he didn't like Gremlins 2? What the fuck?
Right. He also didn't like Die Hard.
Well, you guys just said he's very inconsistent.
Yeah, very inconsistent.
He's on the wrong side of history, that guy.
He really is. I'm like, it's too bad. It's kind of like Freud in that respect. Like, in his day, Freud was thought to be brilliant, but within 100 years of his death, basically everything he'd said had been proven to be bunk. Like,
Alan, what was the budget on this 13 Ghosts?
The budget was $42 million. And the box office was 68.5, so it actually made some money.
I don't know if that counts marketing, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you count marketing, it probably barely broke even.
I think it did break 100 million internationally.
Now, 42 million still seems like a lot. Whereas Gremlins 2 was 50. 42 is still a lot. And I guess it was some pretty elaborate sets.
It's actually impressive to think about, being that it was over a decade later, that this film cost less to make than Gremlins 2 did.
That is an interesting thought.
That's astounding.
It really is.
But still, 50 million, 42.
If nothing else, and I'll delve into what we're really talking about it, but the set design and the art direction in this film are scale-wise are pretty impressive, I think. It doesn't make it a good movie. But
I think they went a little too far. It's a little too silly. Like, we'll get into it, but... So, I believe I was a kid at the time, so I had to wait till it hit DVD. But once it hit DVD, I, burned it the fuck out. I watched it, once a week because I'm a madman. And then at one point I hit a wall and I just put it in the back of the corner for, years, and then didn't watch it again until preparation for this podcast.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I was 18 when it came out. I saw it in a theater with some friends. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't have called it a very good movie even at the time, but I enjoyed the experience. It was a fun thing. I think rewatching it now for probably the third or fourth time, no, I don't mean to be insulting to your fine TV set, but like I think being in a dark theater with a really big screen and a comprehensive surround sound system helped give this film at least a little bit of added entertainment value, because then you get the effect of the house moving around you and the big screen and the darkness and the blah blah blah. But definitely doesn't hold up as being a very good movie, because it wasn't one to begin with.
I could see it being a little more effective in a theater for sure. I mean, I just saw it for the first time today, as did Alan, I assume, right?
No, I actually remember seeing it. I was in middle school.
What?
I didn't see it in theaters.
He's actually seen this one.
No,
But I remember
Way
a
to
couple
make a
years
liar
after that.
out of him.
Yeah. Oh, you guys just assume. No, I did see this. I remember seeing it a couple years later on DVD at a friend's house. But I remember seeing it, and at the time I thought it was pretty scary, and I didn't think it was a particularly good movie. But watching it again now, it's less gory, or a lot more scary than I thought, or I remembered.
It's like for the most part, it's a like really surface level horror. Like, look how scary this ghost is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of the House on Haunted Hill movie. I kept thinking back to that.
Which is made by the same studio. This is Dark Castle. They made House on Haunted Hill, and then this one. And then the idea was they were going to release a horror film once every year, and then they hit Gothica, and then obviously they did away with that.
Ooh.
I see. So they were the Blumhouse of their day?
Yes.
Interesting.
Gothica was a bad
Wait,
decision.
which one is Gothica?
Had
With
Halle
Robert
Berry.
Downey Jr. and Halle Berry, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that directed this, Steve Beck, I looked him up. I wanted to see what this guy had directed.
Yeah.
I saw 2 movies.
Yep.
Both had Ghost in the name.
Yeah, this and Ghost Ship, which is the second, the next movie after this. So he stayed in the Dark Castle family until that. And I guess, if you guys have seen Ghost Ship, it's not good.
No. But did you see his resume? It's short, but did you see his resume as a visual effects supervisor?
I didn't look that over. Do tell.
Oh, yeah.
He did supervision on the special effects artwork for Last Crusade and The Abyss, and one other either Lucas or Spielberg movie. But he had three big instances there doing that, and otherwise all TV commercials. Real interesting career.
So that's really his forte, it sounds like.
Yeah, but it's really interesting that like his career is like this long list of television commercials, and then acting as the art director on certain SFX work for ILM on 3 movies, and then directing these 2 films.
And
that,
nothing after that?
yeah, Ghost Ship, like Josh was saying, Ghost Ship was it.
That's it.
He got 2 movies over I think they came out like 18 months apart, if that.
Yeah.
Two movies in real short sequence, and then no more movies for you.
The man likes ghosts, clearly, right?
Right.
Hey, it's his bread and butter, apparently. Until it wasn't anymore.
It was till it wasn't.
It was 2 films of luscious bread and butter.
2 home runs, and I guess I struck out.
Yeah, it was a butter sandwich.
So, I mean, Ghost Ship was kind of like their equivalent to, what was the pirate movie with Gina Davis in it called?
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Cutthroat Island?
Cutthroat Island, yeah, it was
Island,
Cutthroat
yeah.
Island, which put Carolco out of business.
oh, shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, interesting fact, yeah.
Well, let's talk about 13 Ghosts and how it opens up, which I think one of you guys will have to take. There's a lot going on here. What I remember is there was some SWAT guys and some SUVs, and we get to see what are some of our main characters, F. Murray Abraham and Matthew Lillard as Cyrus and Dennis, respectively. Josh, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the scene?
Okay, so it opens with a raid. I guess F. Murray Abraham, who already you know is going to be a bad guy because he killed Mozart. But him and Matthew Lillard of Scooby-Doo fame are hackers. That's my favorite film. So, so they're like on their like. I guess they're ghost hunting, right? They're super on the next level of Pokemon hunting, and they're now collecting full-blown ghosts. There's some seizure-inducing editing going on with a bunch of like quick flashes. Did you guys notice that?
Oh yeah, and there's a part that I liked as well with Dennis, Matthew Lillard. He has a special power, and
Oh,
And
shit,
it
yeah.
ain't the dentist system, man.
It's not the dentist system. So, okay, they establish early on that he's a bit of a psychic. And F. Murray Abraham breaks out a map and just, like, points his little fucking cane to it. And it's like, yo, point out where the fuck he is. And somehow he's able to do this by touching the ground. But later in the film, like, he has to touch people in order for his power to work. So it's a little inconsistent there, but whatever.
Yeah, that's all good, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that we picked up along the way who are like, what are the rules? They're not clearly established, especially Alan. I mean, that's really Alan's
Very
role, right?
inconsistent.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
then there's nothing makes sense. I was gonna say half of Matthew Lillard's shots are just him in like some kind of agony or having a flashback or just sweating. Just him in distress.
He's hamming the
Under
fuck
what
up.
circumstances can the ghosts touch you is never really established. Like, it's sometimes they're in the same room 3 feet from each other, but the ghosts can't touch you, and then other times they can touch you. I don't.
Well, if you have the ectoglass,
Right, so if you can see them, they can touch you, because that's the only thing I can come up with.
No, I think it attacks a character later on in the film that isn't wearing glasses.
Right.
Steve, what's the deal with the truck full of blood at the beginning?
What is it, a fucking shark?
This is one of my favorite bits in the film, even though it's awful. They're trying to lure out this horrible, like, serial killer ghost so he can be trapped. And as bait, they decide to, like, spray this wrecking yard down with blood. Because apparently the ghost works like a shark. Or if it smells blood, it'll just go nuts and, like, start tearing people apart.
There are victims here.
Right? Oh my god, I smell blood. Wait a second. I don't know what he's going to assume, but someone's in the area bleeding.
What was
I
he
better go
doing
look.
prior to this?
I mean, this is like all part of a super seance, right? Like,
Yeah, they've got this. They put on this, like, chant in Latin that I guess is like a, I don't know what to call it, a spell, an incantation designed to, like, lure spirits out.
Just random ass
And
words.
it's never established where they get this voice from. Like, we had this lying around in the archives somewhere.
Right? It seems like he would have had it recorded, but, like, what a weird thing to hire someone to record for you. It's like, look, I need you to read this spell that, like, draws spirits into a box after we've sprayed the area
he's
with
like
blood.
on Craigslist, like reviewing like resumes, like.
The guy's got a Yelp profile, he actually lists, or LinkedIn. It's like, I do, demonic incantations.
How good is your Latin?
Yeah, like, how good is your magic? Like, really, like, what kind of spells can you do?
I
Can
need
fly?
you to really sell this. I've got to capture Ghost. I've got a lot on the line here.
I mean, this was the first days of ghost hunting, right? This is when it became a thing.
Pioneering it.
The best part about the blood was how it was coming out of a tanker truck. They had a tanker truck just like spraying it everywhere.
That's when I really noticed the editing, and it was fucking atrocious.
Guys, where did he get enough blood to fill a tanker?
Yeah, where did they get that from? Did they murder people themselves, or is it like pig's blood? Is the ghost going to be like, oh, I was tricked by pig's blood?
Can you imagine being the guy who works for him who's got to go to like a slaughterhouse and be like, hey, can I buy like 12,000 gallons of blood from you? And I can't totally tell you what I need it for.
I can't tell you what I need it for, but if you want me to, I will make bacon too.
Right? Yeah, I'll get some meat with it, but I need the blood.
Who owns that junkyard?
Yeah, that's a good point also.
I imagine like an old man with a dog.
And like, where are the police? Like, it's weird that like this weird group of people is in this junkyard hunting a ghost who's been killing people, and the owner of the junkyard's like, oh, we don't need cops for
Which
this.
will set us up for these other two side characters who come in, and F. Murray Abraham, his goons catch him sneaking around. It's like, where the fuck did they get that memo?
Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions already.
Oh, I think they're trying to trap a ghost, right? They have a machine.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Steve. What is this? It's like Ghostbusters, but it's on a bigger scale.
It's that little, I like the little trap box in Ghostbusters. It's a very elegant way to do it. Like, this is like this like glass enclosure. It's very kind of like gothic steampunk looking. I like the design aesthetic of it, but it's still a stupid, goofy, cumbersome thing. It's this huge, like, it looks like a glass elevator, but it's basically just like there to trap this spirit. and they lure it in and they shut the doors and it can't get out of it.
So then they start getting attacked by the cameraman from Evil Dead, who starts like pulling people into cars and wreaking havoc.
That was awesome.
Oh, there's some good deaths, right? Alan, you got to appreciate those.
Yeah, there's some good ones when he gets like crumpled into the car, and they have some shots of the ghost like chasing him down.
One specifically later on we'll get to, I think is very, very good.
Not in this scene?
Not in this scene, when we get to the house with everybody else.
When they trap the ghost, they actually trap it. One of the henchmen or the guys gets trapped inside too.
Oh,
and then it just like destroys him.
Smacking him against the wall.
Yeah.
It's kind of a knock on that opening scene in Jurassic Park where they're trying to move the raptor and the dude gets pulled into the enclosure with it.
Shoot her!
Clever ghost.
But they end up capturing the ghost. They capture it.
They do, but at what cost, Alan?
Like a bunch of lives, 5 lives, including Cyrus, which you find out later.
Cyrus
Comes
the
into play.
virus.
Look-
It's killed more men than cancer.
Jeff Goldblum warned us ghosts will find a way.
That's true. So Alan's right. Cyrus, who's the main guy, he's the evil guy. He wears a cape. He has a cane. Definitely evil. He's dead.
You know he's evil because he has a cane, yeah.
And he drives a car from the 1930s.
What is he, a Batman villain?
He's got like this super nice, like, car show style car that he just drives into a junkyard just like casual as you like. He doesn't take his like Civic. He takes that car.
It's like a 30 Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like, that's cool though.
Anyway, he's dead. We get to move on and we get to meet who becomes our main characters here. We got Tony Shalhoub as Arthur. We got Kathy, Shannon Elizabeth.
At what point did you guys realize Tony Shalhoub is just too good for this movie?
I'm not sure.
It's like,
I'm not
did
sure
he read
really
the
is.
script? He wrote the script, right?
Right. Somebody had to.
What I want to know is this before or after Galaxy Quest? Does anyone know?
Oh, I think so. Maybe?
I think before, but not by much. Maybe a year.
Definitely before Monk, though, right?
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Was he also in Mystery Men?
No,
I think
no, not that I'm aware of.
All right, never mind. I'm just misremembering that cast.
Alan Rickman was.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring it back to Galaxy Quest.
All right.
Well, Alan, I mean, what do we learn about this family? Arthur, Kathy, and random kid.
So we learn immediately through the intro, kind of a long intro there, that his house burned down and his wife ended up dying and they couldn't rescue her and he's like racked with guilt and he has a bunch of past due notices on his wall. So like his life's falling apart and he just can't hold it together because his wife died in that fire.
I mean, to quote Josh here, I wonder who the ghost is going to be, you know?
Yeah, right.
This brings up a core question for me. He's like, one of the recurring themes of the whole movie is that this family is strapped for cash, but he's paying a woman full time, like nanny his son and babysit his son. It's like, how do you afford a live-in employee who just nothing but look after your son during the day?
Well, I mean, she does complain about her wages. I assume that he pays her very little.
He's paying her under the table.
Probably, but even if she's only making minimum wage, like, fire her and pay your bills. Like, that's where the money's going.
Then he has to raise his kids.
Right?
Well, Tony Shalhoub and company, they get a message from a lawyer. Steve, why don't you tell us about what happens here?
This lawyer shows up at the house and he tells them that he really tells Tony Shalhoub's character, I've got something I need to show you. And the kids and the nanny just end up kind of being in the room for it to happen. And he opens up a very early 2000s laptop and runs a very early 2000s looking fake video.
Like on Winamp?
Like on Windows Media Player?
Yeah. Like one?
Or one, or maybe a QuickTime video. Looks a little like QuickTime. Like, there you go. Somebody else has to remember QuickTime.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's F. Murray Abraham's character, and he basically says, if you're watching this, I am dead, and you're my beneficiary because you're the closest living relative.
I've never met you, but here you go.
Right? And I mean, additionally, Tony Shalhoub is talking to his daughter about this person, and he specifically says that he'd gone to family reunions that this person didn't attend and where he was a subject of conversation. So, like, clearly you have other family members. Why are you the beneficiary to this uncle you've never met's estate?
Well, later we'll find out there's a purpose behind this.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, red flag number 1.
Yeah.
Right. But apparently he's not thinking about it. And, basically it's like you're going to get stuff, but you've got to go to the house that you're inheriting with the attorney and sign paperwork. And then it can happen. It can be all yours.
And he gives him like a really wonky, crazy looking key.
Yeah, it gives him looks like a Judge Dredd key.
Looks like a fucking Zelda key to like a dungeon.
It does. It looks like it should unlock some chest with a weapon Zelda needs to beat an enemy.
He's
Take
getting a
this.
power
It's
up.
too dangerous to go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like the chest that unlocks the raccoon suit.
The house is in Willow Grove, which I noted down because I could only assume it's named after the famous Nelwyn Willow. Any Willow fans out there?
A huge Willow fan. Thank you.
Probably shouldn't have written down that joke. It didn't play as well as I hoped.
I've never seen Willow. I'm sorry.
I haven't either.
Oh my God, Josh.
This is a Steve and Corey joke.
We all pay our due homage to the great Warwick Davis.
I'll have to get to it at some point. I've heard nothing but good things.
I genuinely do like it. That's some prime Kilmer and Warwick right there.
Yeah, I sound sarcastic, but no, I have heard people say it's a genuinely good film.
It is, I think.
Now we get to meet the house. The house is its own thing here in this movie. The house is pretty much where they are the rest of the movie, and they all go up to it because they just inherited it and immediately decide they want to move in. This house is not like an ordinary house. It's very secluded, and it is completely like custom made. And I mean, Josh, can you tell us about this house? You've seen this movie a lot. How would you describe it to someone that's never seen it?
Okay, so imagine like a house version of the cube from Hellraiser, but it's made out of glass.
Holy shit.
It's an interesting way of thinking about it. That the box is called the Lament configuration.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
here goes Steve with the fucking deep facts here.
Or
Yeah,
Le Marchand's
super.
box.
Way to call me out, motherfucker.
Right?
Well, actually.
Right? Yeah, oh my God, I've become the well actually kid. Well, I'm going to go throw myself into traffic, everybody.
Somebody's got to do it, and I didn't want it to be me, so thank you.
I would say almost like the last Gremlins 2, when you said one of the characters was the building. This is almost similar. This house could be a character. It's like
It is.
insane.
I mean, the house, all the walls are glass. They all have this like gibberish text on it, which we learn is like all magic spells. The rooms randomly move. I don't quite understand what triggers the movement.
There's cogs and gears.
There's
everywhere.
a lot of big gears that are sometimes CGI, sometimes not.
There's a big circular mechanism at the center of the house that has signs, astrological signs on it, on multiple different rings. And depending on how the rings line the symbols up, that's what controls the movement of the door, the walls.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
This is where they spent their $42 million.
Yeah, building this ridiculous set.
No love from Josh.
I mean, I just think like that could have been like a big reveal later on if like it had been a normal house and they realized, oh, underneath it's like got this weird spell and shit. I don't know. I don't want to rewrite 13 Ghosts like fucking several years later, but
Oh man.
It did seem it was over the top though. I think what got me about it was all the shit on the windows. Like they probably could have put like less window spells.
but yeah, that's where it loses it with me. The moment I see that weird freaky ass like text on this weird glass house out in the middle of nowhere, I'm instantly gonna think, well, I'm in a horror film.
Oh, you guys have developed a better way of keeping ghosts in certain rooms. It's fine.
The whole family never seems to be concerned about that. The only joke we get is Maggie when she says she doesn't do windows. But they never like, what's all this weird shit on the windows? They just like never seem to care about it.
They're ready to move in, right?
Yeah, despite the windows with all this
Well,
shit.
they find out more about it later. I think what they're going for there is they just all assume F. or Mary Abraham's character is so eccentric. It's just like decorative, you know. But
Definitely decorative. There's definitely no spells or magic or black voodoo satanic rituals going on here.
right. Well, you know, I don't think that's what anyone would assume moving in.
Well, when
you
they
know.
first get there, Arthur says it's Latin.
Yeah.
Like he knows what the fuck it says.
Well, Alan, you don't know your Latin? Jesus Christ.
Well, no, because I would argue, because I can
You are
identify...
not a learned man.
I can identify written Latin as being Latin, but I have no idea what it says.
You can do that?
Yeah, of
Better
course.
man than us.
I know what Japanese looks like written. I have no idea how to read
Oh,
kanji.
well, okay. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. Like...
Yeah, Alan, you
Well,
dumb fuck.
Oh, man. I'll just not talk for the rest of the podcast.
Right?
I wouldn't have known either, bro. I don't fucking know.
Shut up, guys.
All right, Alan, tell us about. There's already someone at the house.
Oh, yes. He's an electrician, and he says that the house has been knocking out the power, but immediately you can tell it's Matthew Lillard.
What's Shaggy up to his Scooby-Doo shenanigans?
He has an orange suit and a badge, and he's like, oh, I got to get in the house because, the power's out, and it's a big deal.
He's quite a pushy electrician, isn't he?
Yeah, he keeps shining the flashlight in the lawyer's face.
Oh, hey, it's about time somebody showed up. Is this your place?
Who are you?
I'm the power guy. Don't touch. Look, you probably don't know this, but your house is knocking out the power of the whole Tri-Quad area. And you get inside and check the breakers.
Could you come back tomorrow? That may be a possibility.
Oh, tomorrow? Let me see. Oh, there's about 5,570 houses right now without power. My boss is kind of frown on that, so...
Right, well, that's not really our problem, is it?
I would have punched him.
Yeah, I guess he can sense that the lawyer is going to later be revealed as a bad guy, so he's like,
Right?
Which later it's like, okay, if the lawyer knows what's going on, why the fuck would he let him in the house?
He just wants his money.
Yeah, he has
knows
like
what
a
that bag
suitcase
is.
full of money waiting for the lawyer in there, which he takes and it sets off like the house. Oh, that's what sets it off.
Yeah, he wants to make sure they're all going to be in the house at the time it starts working. So he sets it up so that he's 100% certain the lawyer will go in there and
he
activate it.
really should have, like, Indiana Jones this situation and placed, like, an equally weighted bag.
It didn't work for Indy, though.
Well, you never know until you try.
That's how you get the boulder, my friend.
Or in this case, ghosts. Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, in this case, ghosts. Yeah.
I mean, when he takes the bag, it sets off like the house goes full Rube Goldberg at this point, right? I mean,
Right, yeah.
the gears are turning, the mousetrap is engaged.
I love it. It's so ridiculous. I
Before
really
he
do love
takes
it.
the money, though, everyone's gathered in the house, and Arthur tells everyone to stay in the one room and not to move. And then he goes off with the lawyer to sign stuff. And then that's when the lawyer kind of
Did
sneaks
anybody
off.
notice, like, the weird fucking hand movement he makes? He's, like, moves his hand horizontally, and he's like, stay here, I mean it.
Right.
Yeah, he really meant it. No one seemed to give a fuck. They left like the second he left.
Could give a fuck less.
Yeah.
Not only did they
he
basically
meant it.
visit every other room in the house immediately thereafter, but they also began touching and playing with whatever they felt like.
The kid's going around in a scooter.
Right? They're
Oh
picking
yeah,
up
Razor
glasses.
scooters had just come out, I'm pretty sure.
Can we talk about how fucking annoying that kid actor is? I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life. I'm sure he's grown up since then and probably super embarrassed by this performance, but Jesus Christ, he's annoying.
Dad, they found a guy without a head behind Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I love Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I actually had a problem with him. Like, I didn't like him in the movie. It was just like, what's his point? He was just annoying.
I just noticed that he was like greasy in some scenes. This kid was like,
He's supposed to be
Sweating.
edgy and like he's like into death and like he's like recording about like the obituaries and shit like that.
Yeah, why does he do like a recording of himself reading obituaries? I don't get it. Like, I understand he's supposed to be like a little goth kid, but...
you guys want to hear a story? When I was a kid, me and my brothers did this like fake radio show that we just recorded onto a tape deck.
Right.
And well, I mean, here we are now. I'm doing the same thing essentially.
Was it just you reading obituaries?
No,
Well, then okay.
it was fake interviews with celebrities.
Actually, dude, that's fantastic. That's a good concept for a show. You just get someone who impersonates. I mean, look, Phil Hendry basically did that. Just they weren't supposed to be celebrities. Like,
So in some ways, I guess I sympathize with the little boy. But
Did
yeah, I'm
anybody
with you,
ever
Josh.
get dilapolated in your old radio thing?
It's decapitated.
trampoline, trampoline.
And it was at that point I wanted to reach into the TV and punch that little kid.
It seems like they wanted to draw as much allegory as they possibly could to the Danny character in The Shining. A lot of the shots- Right, a lot of the shots following him down the hallways, and he's the first one to encounter the dead people, and blah, blah, blah.
before he encounters the dead people, well, like almost like right before, the lawyer gets taken out of the picture. Alan, how does the lawyer die? It was pretty cool.
Yes, so he has the money. Everything's starting in motion. The house is moving. The walls are like shifting. Like they do that like 10 times at least. So everything's like doors are closing, walls are shifting. And as he's walking out, he sees one of the ghosts because he has the glasses. So one of the things is like the doors start opening. And they open in like stages, or I think like one at a time, or they open in like groups. So he sees the one chick with the knife, like the queen or the princess.
Oh yeah, they all got their own little fucking cute nicknames.
What are some of them, Josh?
I actually wrote them all down. So,
well, I remember there was like the Juggernaut, Magneto, Wolverine.
There's the Red Ranger, the Blue Ranger.
There's the torso.
Yeah, so also known as the easiest ghost to get away from in the world. Like, what the fuck is he going to do?
They hired an amputee actor to get the footage for that, and they had him wear basically a green screen mask over his head. Oh. So they could just erase it and make it look like that.
So that was like a real person.
Yeah, it was a real human being whose like head was removed digitally. Yeah.
That's cool.
And the effect actually works pretty well, I think.
What's cool, I kind of think, is a lot of the ghosts have like backstories. Like they're not said in the movie itself, but on the DVD extras, each ghost has like a 3 to 5 minute vignette explaining how they died.
There's the mom and the fat son.
Oh yeah, what's their backstory, Josh? Do you know
so they were carnies, actually, if I'm recalling correctly.
They're related to Art Carney?
Yeah, and the holiday special.
Distant family member. So they worked at a carnival, and what happened to them?
The little tiny dwarf lady, if I'm not mistaken, was like kidnapped and suffocated, and then the big fat baby man went on an axe murdering spree, and then eventually I think the carnies killed him in retaliation.
Oh shit, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
they all have like way fucked up backstories. There's like the greaser going with the bat.
So can we bring that up? All right, this is a point I've been wanting to make for years. Who the fuck killed the baseball bat? Why is there a ghost baseball bat? Did the baseball bat die too?
Someone didn't save the trees.
Like the arrow that was in the kid's head, like went with him.
Well, at least I can accept that because that's like in his physical form, I guess. Like it's the same with the Hammer character, but it's like that guy clearly didn't die with a baseball bat.
Now, here's the best part of all that. So the hot ghost, her fake tits went with her.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That chick's name was Shauna Lawyer. We were talking about it during the movie, and her makeup took the most time of all of them to apply. And there was a rumor circulating around at the time that a porn actress named Aria Giovanni had played the part. But it wasn't true. However, that same Aria Giovanni was in a porn parody of this movie called 13 Erotic Ghosts.
Oh my God.
A classic.
Right? It's an absolute classic.
Sounds like the laziest fucking title
That
ever.
is, yeah.
Right.
They're supposed to be funny. What's going on there?
And I thought Lord of the G-Strings was lazy.
Right.
Oh, that's a good one.
One other thing I wanted to mention really quickly, there's a part toward the beginning when they've just gotten into the house, they're looking around, and they you see more of it with the scene with Matthew Lillard that F. Murray Abraham's character's got a collection of katanas. One of the katanas in there has a dragon head on it, and it's actually the same sword that a character named Duncan MacLeod used in the television series version of Highlander.
Oh, okay.
Damn,
The more
that's
you
some
know.
deep stuff.
Right? The more you know is an important footnote in the production of this film.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, so the lawyer, so he sees the female ghost and she has like a fat knife and he's like backing up and he's all scared because he knows that she's probably gonna kill him.
Ghost knife.
Yeah, ghost knife. And as he's backing up, like he's trying to like be cool about it. Out of nowhere, the doors close and they cut him clean in half, like horizontally. So the doors are horizontal and it just cuts him right down the middle.
That's the death I was talking about earlier. Yeah, this is really solid, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Some of the practical effects in this are really good.
And when it happens, you see the doors close. but he's just kind of standing there frozen. Like you know what happened, but you don't actually see it for like maybe like 10, 15
He
seconds.
loses his tie first.
Yeah. And then you see the front of his body slide off the glass because then it's like, oh, he got cut in half.
That was kind of a thing around this time, right? There was like a little bit of that. It reminded me of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
There were deaths around the time of this movie like that.
The little like laser fin scene from the first film.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one.
There was also the movie The Cell with,
Oh yeah.
I think it was Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
And in that
yeah.
movie, there's a scene where like the horse and the glass comes down and it like just cuts the horse up like very similarly.
That came out around the same time,
Yeah.
same year, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like a big thing, like you said, for like a year or two.
Now, because the lawyer took that case, there's like ghosts all over the place now, right? They've all been released from their like Ghostbusters traps. Is that right?
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I mean, that's the thing, right? They're all really. I couldn't really tell if they were all released or if one of them was released or.
So yeah,
doors were open
they're
in
supposed to be released one at a time, I believe.
It's very poor editing because I think I mentioned that and that's what I got. But you're right. It's not entirely clear because they keep doing weird cuts and I think it's supposed to be one at a time, like Josh said.
That's the one area where I think I'd agree with you guys about I loved that set and the way it looked and the mechanics, the way it was supposed to work. But at the same time, it's so much set and so much size and so many rooms and so many walls and the way that it's edited, it does become kind of hard. Now I'm lost. I don't even
It's
understand.
like, where does the set start and where does it end?
Right.
And then like some ghosts are just out. Like you don't even see some of them get out. Like they're just out all of a sudden.
I'm just here now.
Yeah. Like I guess it's assumed, but there's no structure to like how they're supposed to be released.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I
like,
assume.
yeah, not to skip too far ahead, but like later on, they break down the order in which their like zodiac signs are the satanic zodiac or whatever the fuck, and it's like that's not the order that they're released in.
Right.
So it is supposed to be the order they're released in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They are supposed to be getting out in a specific sequence. They do say that closer to the end of the film.
But they don't make it seem like that. It's confusing.
Right.
Now, a lot of the movie from here on out, at least a lot of the second act, is our main group of people looking for the kid, and then later Shannon Elizabeth as well, Kathy.
So side note, I know Shannon Elizabeth on my channel from getting fucked to death by a snowman on Jack Frost. So she has a bathroom scene later on with the big titty ghost. It's like the second most embarrassing bathroom scene she's ever recorded or filmed.
Oh, man.
Big titty ghost.
I didn't get why the ghost didn't kill her. Like, why? This is the rules. Like, how come?
She was getting to it, man.
Yeah,
She
it
had
took
to
her
take
like
a bath.
15 minutes.
But this goes back to what I was saying is I don't understand what the rules are regarding, like, when can the ghosts touch them? When can't they? Like, why is it that the ghost is still just a few feet away but is no longer a threat? Like, you've moved away far enough from her that she's no longer going to kill you? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get why the ghost didn't kill her immediately. She has that ghost knife. I thought she was just going to slash her or something.
So she has a ghost knife, and she has to have that, right? It's part of like the lore. Like they have this thing that they died with, or whatever.
Yeah, apparently. I know she said that they died. Like she died in violence or something like that. And now they exist in like a violent place where it's all they know.
Except for the mom, who also died in violence, but it's cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Somehow she's chill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's burned, but only half of her.
it's like Phantom style.
Anyway, there's a ghost a little bit after the bathroom scene that attacks Kathy, who is Shannon Elizabeth. That this is my favorite ghost, and we could talk about our favorites at this point, I guess. But it's like a Linda Blair ghost with a metal box on
The
its head.
jackal, yeah.
Yeah.
The jackal.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man. It looks
Jackal.
scary. What do you guys think? What are your favorites?
That's my favorite, yeah, totally.
Steve?
I think he probably is mine. 'Cause he reminds me the most of the Cenobites from Hellraiser, and they're cool.
Which guy?
So, the dude with the metal box on his head with the vice inside.
Oh, that's not a woman?
Oh, is it a woman?
I don't
No,
know.
it's a
that's
dude,
the
I think.
jackal.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
the jackal.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the hammer, the guy with like the nails in him.
Oh, a nail guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the nail guy was cool
Not
too.
Candyman.
Right, but this is the dude with, oh man, the Candyman movies are awesome. But like, right, yeah.
Are they though?
I mean, the first one is in a bad way, but it is, the first one's cool. Sequels, not so much.
There's a scene here where the I think it's the hammer. He starts chasing after Arthur, and they kind of like have to climb a rope and like go to the next floor. And it barely misses him as he climbs up the rope and gets to the next floor. But I don't get why the ghost can't like jump or fly. Like, what's the rules here again?
Well, I think they had like spells on the floor, right?
Yeah.
But that's how he climbed up, though. He climbed up through the shaft. There was
Oh, you're
nothing
saying
there.
why can't the ghost go through the shaft around the
or,
spells?
like, climb up.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know how
He
big the
wasn't
barrier
quick
is.
enough, and they shut it up.
I don't know.
Well, we also get to meet another character that's introduced briefly in the beginning, but reintroduced here, who's Kalina. She comes to like save the day at one point when Kathy's about to be taken by a ghost. She's getting like scratched up.
She tries to explain to Tony Shalhoub that she's like here to free the ghost, and she has like a weird, like crazy laugh where she's like,
I'm pretty sure Kalina's a Mortal Kombat character.
Oh yeah, Millionaire was a Total Recall
There it
character.
is, yeah. Fucking Mortal Kombat.
I mean, Kalina is in the spirit reclamation business, which is a note I took down. Is that the line she said? Am I getting this correctly?
Oh, that was it. Steve was dying.
Yeah. The spirit reclamation business. What the fuck does that mean? What a ridiculous way to put it.
I mean, it could only have been cornier if she said, "And business is good," right?
Right, and business is good.
She had a business
It
card.
was still way corny, though.
Now, she kind of gathers some of our main characters into a room, and we get a little bit of a breather while she gives a lot of exposition, which I don't remember, but it has to do with the house and machines and magic.
Designed by the devil and powered by the dead, I think she puts it.
Okay. I mean, can you expand on that? What is it? What is the full thing that she's trying to tell here? Like, where does this lead our characters?
I've watched it a couple times this week, and I still can't figure out exactly what the fuck is supposed to happen once all the ritual goes off. Like, what is supposed to happen with F. Murray Abraham? Maybe you guys can elaborate more.
So she goes on about the machine, and there's a name she gives. I forget the name already. But basically, the machine powers up, and it draws these ghosts to the center. And once it gets the energy from these specific ghosts, then it can open up the eye of the devil, or they have some Latin. What's the term for it, Steve?
Oh yeah, the cornea satanica or something like that.
some
Yeah.
bullshit. It's like,
Encyclopedia Satanica.
yeah, it's the eye of the devil, and whoever opens it can like basically rule the world. It has like some crazy power.
Yeah, she says the Latin name, and Monk, what's his name? Tony Shalhoub is just like, oh, that's Latin for eye of whatever. Like, oh, I didn't know you knew Latin too.
He's a math teacher. He knows Latin.
Of course.
Don't you think it would have been better suited if he was an English teacher for all this?
Who doesn't know Latin in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, you make him a historian or a doctor who would have needed to learn Latin as part of the physiology, so like some reason he'd know it, and then instead of having him be like a dummy about it.
I'm surprised Shannon Elizabeth didn't break out her old rusty Latin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's a Latin master.
And Kalina here reveals that there's kind of like, well, I guess it's supposed to be a big reveal, but it's not really to the audience, that one of the ghosts is Arthur's dead wife.
He's the 13th ghost.
So Arthur is the 13th ghost, not the wife, right?
No, Arthur is.
Okay. And what does that mean exactly?
So you later find out that they actually said it in the beginning of the movie, because they talk about getting all 12. And in the beginning, he's like, oh, but you need 13. Or they briefly mention it, and then it comes back to the end here. And the 13th ghost is some made up bullshit about how they need a ghost born from pure love, and like he needs to sacrifice himself.
You gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta believe you can become the 13th ghost.
No explanation, just hastily made up. There's none of this makes sense. It's like, oh, this ghost.
The marketing of this film was all like, I might be butchering this, but it was something to the effect of, what's worse than being trapped in the house with a ghost, being trapped in a house with 13. I feel like I was lied to, because there's never 13 ghosts in the house. It's just, what's easier to get away from 13 ghosts? 12 ghosts.
You guys oversold the ghost count, damn it.
Yeah, I feel like one less ghost is a significant amount of ghosts.
I mean, dude, you gotta get what they advertise.
Well, what about
1/13 of the ghosts didn't appear.
What about Ghost Ship? Is this ship a ghost?
Ghost Cube.
Well, why was Knight Rider called Knight Rider? Nobody rode Michael Knight.
Oh, no.
Read between the lines, man.
Right.
He was riding Kit.
Right. I will fully admit before anyone comments, I stole that bit from Rick on Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
okay. So this is where we later find out Kalina, she knocks out Maggie, the babysitter, who's still around for some reason.
Didn't you expect this character to die much sooner?
I absolutely did. And I saw this and I was like, when did she die?
I kind of thought that's what she was there for, was just to provide an early death. Inconsequential early death.
The body count is low, isn't it?
It's
very low.
That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, I saw it as a kid, I guess, but I remember it being like way more crazy. And now I was like, what, 3 people died? Well, maybe more, but it wasn't very like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, once you're in the house, the one character dies, I think, right? Or
Most of the
2.
body count is in that like first opening bit.
Yeah, in the junkyard.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where Kalina knocks out Maggie. And I guess you were supposed to kind of maybe get the hints, or if you were paying super good attention, but Kalina betrayed them, and she's actually on Cyrus's side.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I guess it's supposed to be a big twist that Cyrus is not a ghost trapped in the house, but he's in fact still alive, just kicking it.
Right.
He
And
faked
it's
his
not
death.
a big reveal, though, right? I mean, it's
No.
supposed to be, but like, it's evident. He does not look like the ghosts. He just has like some blood splashed on his neck.
Yeah, which bears the question. I guess this is supposed to take place at least, presumably, a few days after his alleged death. So why hasn't he cleaned himself up yet? Take a shower, man.
I thought that same thing. It looked like he just came from the junkyard.
I thought at one point, and I could be wrong, I thought they said like it was 6 weeks later.
Well, like in Matthew Lillard's character thought he was dead somehow too. Like somehow he didn't.
Oh yeah, my psychic powers are convenient to the plot.
Right? Like, I mean, and like, didn't he get taken to a morgue or something? Like, did you leave the junkyard without doing anything about his body? Is that how that went? You just left?
He's just left. I am assuming he's dead. I'm not going to use my psychic powers to verify this. I'm just going to assume everything's going to work out.
Well, it seems like using
Somebody
his powers
picked
just
this
gives him
body
a
up.
migraine. So like, he doesn't really like to use them, right?
Man, he is hamming it the fuck up in this.
Well, by
in
this
movie.
point, he's not going to use them anymore because he got brutally murdered by, I think, the Jackal.
Well, that solves the migraine problem.
He gets double teamed by the Hammer and the Juggernaut.
The Hammer, yeah. And he dies for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean,
movie.
his death is pretty cool. He gets banged, as Steve put it.
Against the wall, he does.
A lot of these ghosts sound like the hunters from Running Man.
Oh,
yeah. I'm surprised Sub-Zero didn't
love
come
that.
out.
Which are like basically parodies of wrestlers, right? They all have a gimmick.
Yeah.
Right? Jesse Ventura was one of them. So.
Yes.
Captain Freedom, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like the Hulk Hogan guy. pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
The all-American kind of guy.
All-American Patriot.
I liked the opera guy that shot electricity, personally.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
Dynamo.
And Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Sub-Zero. Now playing
No.
Zero.
Exactly.
That book was so much different than that movie.
I've
Was
yet to finish it.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we're kind of getting into the last act here. I mean, Steve, why don't you bring it home? I mean, what's going on here with this big contraption, and the guy's still alive, Cyrus? Why don't you take it from there?
So we reveal that Cyrus is alive, and makes a lot more sense that the house, the mechanism is working, because now he's actually going to be there to take advantage of the power that it's going to create when it works.
Kind of begs the question what he was doing before this family showed up. Was he just literally just hanging out in this house by himself?
Fucking lurking.
He must have been like hiding out in there. Like, it's
No,
like
the
his
ghosts
lair.
weren't fucking with him, though, right?
Right. Well, yeah, he kept them all trapped. You know, he didn't set off them being able to get out of their cells until he wanted to.
All right.
Yeah. And so he's been secure. He's been watching what's going on, and he's there to take advantage. And he meets up with Kalina.
Yeah, Kalina.
Yeah, Miss
Kalina.
Honey.
Right. Yeah, and Miss Honey. And
She was Miss Honey in Matilda, by the
it still
way.
is. It's a very different movie.
Holy shit, she is! Oh my god!
Oh, he just blew Josh's mind.
Yes!
Oh, but he ends up. They have a conversation. I can't remember what gets said though already, and then he ends up killing her.
They're trying to debate the philosophical reasons behind putting the kids in the middle of that like weird mechanism.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, and
they're just kids, and he's
she's
like,
not
basically
okay with it, but she's okay with everything else that's been happening and ghosts and like trapping spirits. But like, oh, kids is where I draw the line.
right.
Well,
she
you gotta
does get
have
killed. That's
morals.
right. That's another person that dies. I guess that
Right.
increases the body count a
By
little bit.
one.
She gets crushed.
And then, he's got the kids inside of this mechanism that basically looks like a big gyroscope. It's got these two huge interlocked rings that swing like one inside of the other in sort of a crisscross pattern.
It's kind of bad, outdated CGI.
Oh yeah.
It is now, like, I think it looked...
It did
It
look
looked
better
o-
at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was never like groundbreaking, oh my god, but it looked sufficient for the time, yeah.
You know what? Even now, I thought it wasn't great, but I found it acceptable.
I'd agree with you about that.
It was
It's definitely
acceptable.
not current, but I didn't find it
I
offensive.
didn't like it.
It's not the snake from Anaconda.
No, you see that? It could be... There are movies in this era that were worse, for sure. And
That's a good snake.
ultimately, what F. Murray Abraham's character Cyrus wants is for Monk to commit suicide, basically, because he needs an additional ghost, a 13th ghost that was created out of an act of love. For some reason, that ghost completes this process.
Why does Monk, Tony Shalhoub, feel the need to count the ghosts? Like, you know how many motherfuckers there are here.
Right?
Oh yeah, he had to count them again just for the viewers.
Oh, yeah. That
When they
was
went through it the
definitely...
first time.
He did roll call. He's like, yep, they're all here.
That was right. It's so apt. Absolutely. That was definitely a for the audience moment. It's like, we just want to remind you, here's the ones that are here.
Look, here's all the ghosts. Like it's a climax. We have
Right.
them all.
I'm like, and then Tony Shalhoub ultimately has to make this sort of leap of faith into the center of these swinging rings to rescue the kids from them.
He holds him at sword point, and it's like, what's the point? If you, like, stab me through the throat, you're not going to get the 13th ghost, dumbass.
Right.
And the way he gets out of that situation is also noteworthy because the nanny, who was previously unconscious, wakes up and starts doing some like record scratching over the PA, right?
That's why I chose you, nephew. You and your pathetic family. Congratulations. You get to become the 13th ghost. Now get on your feet.
Yeah, she's supposed to be turning off the audio recording of the chant that's driving these ghosts to the machine.
But she's making beats.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
basically deadmouses it.
Yeah.
You got the whole DJ scratch noise, like the rewind.
She's about to drop the bass.
Wiggity, wiggity, wiggity remix.
That's pretty sweet.
Right?
Go on.
And I think one sort of interesting thing here, the director, I don't know if they're really supposed to be connected, but the director was one of the effects supervisors on Last Crusade. The end of Last Crusade, when Indy is making his way to the Grail, there's a walk of faith where he basically walks on a bridge that is invisible at the moment he arrives at it. And upon taking his first step onto it, he's not really sure it's going to be under him. It's a very tense moment for the audience if you don't know what's going to happen. And I just feel like that was kind of an aped moment where it's like, take the leap of faith and end up in the center of the rings, you know?
I would like to make the point that, like, I don't know if you guys caught it, but at one point he's beating up Monk and he calls him a loser. Like, he's like, you loser. And it's like, damn, first of all, you burned me harder than that house burned my wife. Second, like, I'm sorry I didn't dedicate my entire life to some kind of weird satanic ritual. I thought I would just have a family and kids. You know, the normal shit.
What a loser.
Not
Fucking
trying to
Fucking
summon.
loser.
You haven't spent your entire adult life pursuing satanic powers. Like,
and Latin magic.
Trying to summon the eye of the devil.
I mean, this is what happens when you read Harry Potter.
It'd
This
be-
is where it leads.
It'd be great if some ancient entity showed up and was like, hey, by the way, it's really the like devil's butthole. You're after. That's what it is.
The innocuous butthole or whatever.
Innocuous anus. Right?
I'm sorry to break it to you, but yeah.
Right? Oh wait, we forgot to mention the part when they're looking for the kids, and Tony Shalhoub is yelling, and the woman the nanny is yelling, and Matthew Lillard explains to them that they can't be heard because the place is assembled using ectoglass.
Was that supposed to be like a Ghostbusters reference?
I hope so. Otherwise, like
ectoglass. How unusual.
I would probably promise a significant chunk of my year's salary for Ecto Cooler that wasn't spoiled.
It sounds like some shit some
I want
guys...
some so bad.
It's a goddamn shame that Ghostbusters reboot failed.
When the guys were writing it, they just like threw out this fucking word. They probably were watching Ghostbusters. Oh, I'll call it ectoglass.
This would have been a way shorter movie if they had just, called up the Ghostbusters.
Well,
right?
I know one thing about ectoglass. It can be easily removed and used as a shield.
Right, yes.
Yeah, it's not too heavy for two people to sort of bulk around with them.
Yeah.
Like,
and I guess you can just like conveniently remove it at certain times, but you can't get around it at other times.
That's the thing that bothered me the most about that, really, is like if the walls are sliding around and trapping you in these individual rooms, but you can just remove the panels, you're never trapped. Just remove the panel.
It's whatever the plot needs you to do.
Right, that's exactly. It's like it's possible when it's necessary.
Movie rules 101, dude.
Right, this is definitely a movie by numbers. It's definitely a pattern film. Like, this is the way things are going to get shot and framed, and this is the way the story arc's going to go, and here are the types of characters we need, and let's cast people that are popular enough to be identifiable, but that won't cost us too much money, and yeah.
It's weird when you put it like that, because it's a pretty wild movie, but at the same time, it's like, almost not. It's just like a standard formula.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty popcorn horror. I kind of felt like it was like a Michael Bay horror film before Michael Bay started doing horror films.
Yeah. I mean, it shows you how much of what the industry is doing at the larger end, at the sharp end of the sword, so to speak, is just really done to a predefined formula. They know what works, and pretty much everything is just done that way. To
the point where the villain is, of course, killed by the ghost. Right. And that's pretty much just like you were saying. Like, you have to see that come in.
Right.
Of course, he is actually going to get killed, and the ghosts are going to pull him in and take him down.
How ironic.
Was the little dwarf lady lifting him up as well? Because that would have been awesome.
I'm not sure. She might have just been, hidden in the mix.
She's, trying to reach at him and jumping up and down.
So what happens after he dies? The house blows up, kids are rescued, the nanny can't even handle it. She's like...
Side note, if he would have just waited 5 seconds, he didn't really have to make that jump because the gears just busted up and exploded anyway.
Did they ever explain what caused that? Because I kind of thought that he'd done something.
Because DJ scratching.
Yeah, it was the nanny. She just started removing shit and
that makes no sense. Everything. Oh, I guess she was removing other things because the recording.
She was just hitting levers.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because the recording really only served to draw the ghosts to the mechanism. It didn't actually make the mechanism function.
Well, that's when she started pulling levers and taking off shit. She basically just broke everything.
Right. All right.
So everything blows up. There's a huge, really loud, drawn out explosion scene where everything's just blowing up. The house is done. And afterwards, in the aftermath, everything's ruined. There's a really short scene where they meet the wife, or the ghost of the wife.
Oh, before that, they we see the evil ghosts leave the house, and I guess they're just going out to murder a bunch of people, right?
That's exactly what I said.
Right, it is. I will attest to that. Alan, almost verbatim what Alan said.
Yeah. I was like, are they just going to go out and just murder people now?
But the wife is going to do some good. She's going to right some wrongs.
I don't even know what she says. She just kind of shows up at the end.
Well, it's very Anakin Skywalker, right? Why is she unburned and she goes back to normal form, but the other ghosts are just fucked?
Wait, are we talking about Spirit of Anakin as played by Hayden Christensen, or Spirit of Anakin as played by the... No, never. The answer is never that one. It's always Sebastian Shaw.
Sensitive much, I see.
Keep the X-Men out of this.
Damn it.
Sebastian Shaw.
These kids.
But the movie's not over quite yet. There's one very last important part where the nanny says that she's going back to New York, and and she can't handle it, and she's just over ghosts, and she's quitting, and this is too much. And then it ends.
This has become such a regular occurrence. And then, yeah, that's like her rant is just the end.
If it for me, I'm on the first fucking plane back to Newark. I'm sorry, family, Kathy, Bobby, Uncle, Ghost. I am sick of this nanny shit. I've had it. This was not in the job description. I quit!
I can only assume they cut out a part where she gets killed immediately after that, right?
I can only hope.
All right. Like,
The ghosts come back to the house.
what a weird way for it to end. It's just like, okay. I mean, I kind of like it because a lot of the time they drag it out another 10 minutes for no reason. It's like, oh, here's what everyone did afterwards.
This was like
I don't
10
really care.
seconds.
But yeah, it's true. This was almost too much the other direction. It's stunted. Like, where's the end?
Like, they did it.
Well, that is how the movie ends, but that leaves us with an important question.
Oh,
and
boy.
Josh, you may, of course, participate. The question is, who is the Jesus character in 13 Ghosts? The question that's on everyone's minds, I'm sure. Josh, why don't you go first?
I would have to say it's Matthew Lillard.
It is. You're right.
You stole my
Sweet,
answer.
what? Oh, that's what I thought at first, but then I thought you were going to say it was Tony Shalhoub because he was supposed to die, sacrificing himself, and then didn't.
No, but Matthew Lillard comes back to help him.
But he comes back as a ghost, and Jesus came back in the flesh.
Yeah, well, you know,
It's not a one-to-one, okay?
Dead. He was dead for like 3 hours.
3 days, 3 hours. See?
Damn it!
They're
All
both
right.
threes.
Good job, Josh. You got it. You know, I had just seen this movie today, so I had to figure out a Jesus character real quick. Cut me a break, okay?
Oh,
You
no,
got
that
about
was a
5
solid
minutes.
one. That was a solid one.
Whoa! You just asked a Josh from one show a question invented by a Josh from a different show.
Oh my
Inception.
Oh, man.
We're in
Holy
the
shit.
Matrix.
Well, let's go to ratings.
We're bridging the gap between Joshes.
I am interested to see where you guys rate this, and I think I'll go with you first, Alan, on any rating scale you want.
On a scale of ghosts.
That's exactly what I was going to say. On a scale of ghosts, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. There's some good stuff about it, but there's a lot of bad stuff about it. I thought the concept and the ghosts were the most interesting part, but just the production or the editing, the story got a little weird. The ending was too abrupt. It just didn't flow well. The pacing was off, and the idea and the ghosts were the biggest parts of the biggest parts you could focus on. But as far as like the movie pacing and the kid and the story, it just got a little weird, and I give it a 4 out of 10.
All right, Josh, why don't you go next?
On a scale of ghost, I'm probably going to echo Alan. Probably about maybe a 4, yeah.
4 out of 10 ghosts?
4 out of 10 ghosts, yeah.
Okay.
Not 13, not even 12. There are things to like about, like the makeup effects are pretty good about this pretty good with this movie. It's just a bunch of silly things like the editing, and once you start to think about the logic of the film, like ghost bats and ghost knives and shit like that, it starts to become really stupid.
I'm with you there. I'm going to take it next, and I don't know why you guys didn't do this. I'm going to give it, out of 13 ghosts, right? I'm going to give it 2 out of 13. I'm going to give it the little old lady one and the fat one.
Fuck, now I gotta remember fractions.
I don't know what that means either.
That's some number I don't even know.
I mean, this is kind of going to be a universal review here, so I'm going to break it down. The movie kind of sucks, and the ghost effects are kind of good. That's really what it is simplified. Like, the ghost effects and some of the deaths, some of the gore is cool, but this is like a very early 2000s horror movie. And those were not good, if you guys remember.
No.
This is definitely one of those. It's right in that category. It's in that weird spot of horror where not a whole lot came out. Steve, what do you think?
I'm going to rate this movie on the basis of from 1 to 10 ghost cages for containing ghosts. And I'm actually going to give it a 5. I think... it's got a lot of problems. Yes, the plot has holes. Yes, the rules fail to be defined in a lot of cases. The issues you guys brought up, the editing, are all valid. But I think despite sometimes being too big and complicated for its own good, the set design was really cool. I think it was all neat looking. I think that unfortunately some of the effect is lost when the film isn't watched in a theater, and that contributes poorly to it. But I don't think it's any worse than anything that was produced in the era. I totally agree with you. It was absolutely a product of its time, but I love a lot of the movies from that time, even if they're not good, just because it's such a reminder of how silly they were doing certain things in that era. Plus my personal nostalgia for it. But definitely a problematic movie, but one for me that's sort of pseudo saved by the quality of the art and the effects, which I think were good for the era, and that I would probably watch again at some point, but I might wait another 10 years.
The cast definitely elevate the material.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's actually got a pretty competent cast given the material they're dealing with. I mean, clearly it's not King Lear, but
it is King Lillard.
Right, it's King Lillard. They could have gotten actors did a hell of a lot worse than this. So yeah,
I like Matthew Lillard, man. He's pretty great.
He is. Anything he appears in seems to lighten up a little bit. I don't think I'd have any interest in.
He is a godsend,
right? I would never want to rewatch the Scooby-Doo movies, really, but he was the best part of them.
I watch Hackers just for him.
Oh, he's one of the main reasons I rewatch Hackers. I love that movie.
Yeah, he's very expressive. He's his emotions and how he just talks.
And I mentioned it earlier. He's always mugging. He's always mugging for the camera, and I like that. He's got a good mug.
The mugster.
Josh, why don't you tell us where people can find you, where they can listen to you, and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so you can find me over at Review Incorporated, Review Inc., or Review Dude. I do nostalgia critic style reviews, but hopefully slightly better,
Definitely.
Other than that, we got a Facebook page, and that's pretty much it that I can think of.
All right. Well, if you were to tell someone to check out one of your videos, someone that hadn't heard you before, which one would you say is the one to check out?
Oh, XXX, definitely. I put a lot of heart and soul into that one.
Good answer.
I couldn't expect a better
definitely agree
answer.
with that. That XXX video is so good and funny. You have to watch it.
Thank you.
I personally also really like the Fast and the Furious one, Three Ninjas.
I actually lost subscribers over making fun of the Paul Walker situation.
Oh, wow.
It's lighten up, everybody. He's been dead for a few years.
You're right.
So it's okay now.
It makes it okay.
I love it. Well, guys, if you like what you hear, you can send us an email, suggest a movie to us, bigdumbmovie@gmail.com. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. And here's the big one. Leave us a positive review on iTunes. Give us some stars and leave us some words. It'll help us out a lot on iTunes. Really appreciate that end of things. And I think that's pretty much it for this time. Next time we're going to be doing a real Halloween classic. My pick, Hocus Pocus.
Holy shit.
Completely opposite of this movie.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Way less ghosts.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad.
Steve is ready for it.
All right. Let's do some fighting in here for everybody.
Well, guys, thank you for checking us out. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Happy Halloween. And awkward goodbye now.
See ya.
Happy Halloween. I love Halloween.
I walk through the streets trying to figure out why I captivate people when I don't even trust. Like all the things that I took for granted, but now that I'm older, I surely understand it. Every single day trying to carry out tasks, celebrate another birthday, life moving too fast. Every minute, hour, each day and night, making sure I stay focused and keep my mind right. Never knowing what drama that life could bring, inspiration to win with every song I sing, making sure that I'm not overcome with greed. Got enough security for my seed. It go like any given day I could take 50 grand, snatch her out of school and head to Disneyland, or maybe just Toys R Us and the mall. Her life is straight, baby girl gon' have it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow, so until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow, so until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mom and dad taught me to stay out of trouble, but no one can prepare you for life's inner struggles. The test of your courage when you're scared to death, or the test of faith when you feel there's nothing left. The test of your strength when you're making life choices. Swear sometimes I be hearing strange voices, following advice that my grandma gave me. Crazy, think I've been seeing her lately. She told me nothing in life was free. Be nice to folks when they not nice to me. To turn the other cheek in most confrontations, no matter how bleak the situation. Cool, but most things I had to learn on my own, like what I'm gonna do by the time I got grown. Would've been nice to see a baby in the movie. Multimedia, yours truly. Come on.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all.
The moral of the story is, who know what glory is? Who just idling? Who the real warriors? Who the type that make their own fate? Who the go-getters? Who sit back and wait? Went from hanging on a park bench to Range Rovers with dark tents, 5-bedroom apartments. Never feared, new music was my calling. Whatever else come, digga, put on all in. At this point, I figure any path I'm at, whether sing, rap, act, or just fade to black. Now, wonder why I motivate like that, so I can live like a baller even if I didn't plaque. I tell you this much, I'ma always have a plan. Can't leave your well-being in somebody else's hands. The choice is yours, I'ma do my bit. Cause everybody die, but not everybody lives.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who gon' survive, who be next to fall? It might be today, it might be tomorrow. So until I get the call, I'ma say I did it all.